Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have here a set of Asus business networking equipment. We have a dedicated router which is the EBG19P, a smart switch which is the EBP15, and an access point as the EBA63. Okay, before anything else, I would like to thank our friends from Asus Philippines for sending us this unit for testing and review. Guys, this type of network equipment is generally for small to medium business or even great for your home network. And you don't need to have an in-depth knowledge on networking to set it up and expand your network. This video might take so long, so our main focus would be the EBG19P Expert Wi-Fi router. But we will still cover some of the configuration on the EBP15 and the EBA63 access point, but they will have a separate video for more details. Let us talk about the EBG19P. This is a dedicated router without Wi-Fi signal broadcast. So you will actually need an access point to have a Wi-Fi signal like the EBA63 or other Asus access point that is capable of being an access point that has mesh as well. And for the specification, it runs on a 1.8 dual-core ARM B8 processor with 512 MB of RAM with 8 PoE Plus ports capable of delivering up to 123 watts of power for various PoE-enabled devices. While for 3 Ethernet ports can be used with load balancing, and in addition, USB port can be used as a backup one for mobile internet or mobile phone. While for the other features, we will run it through later on by accessing the web management console and include the link on the description below for the full specification. Now, let us go with the configuration. First is you need to power on your EBG19P by plugging in the adapter at the back. And aside from that one, you will be needing our source of internet connection. This red LAN cable is connected directly to my modem router, which is converged. And we will be putting this one on the first port, which is a 1 port. Yes, actually there are 1, 2, 3 that can act as a 1 port. But we'll be putting that one on the first one. And of course, you'll be needing a laptop or desktop to configure this because this doesn't have any Wi-Fi broadcast signal. It's just a router. And later on, I'll show you on how to add Wi-Fi connection on this by adding an additional access point. And this LAN cable connected to my laptop. And we will be putting it anywhere that you want, but I'll be plugging it in on the last port. Okay, aside from that one, let's try to access the web management console to configure this EBG19P. Okay, and the IP address will be 192.168.50.1, the default IP address for this EBG19P, and click here to continue. Then click yes. Then advance, then proceed. Okay. Okay, then you'll be able to see here end user license agreement. You need to scroll this down to be able to click on agree, as you can see. And I am above the age of 16 years and click agree. And an additional Asus privacy notice, you need to scroll down and click agree. Then after that one, it will be redirected to this page where you can create a new network. It can be advanced or just use the wizard. We will be using the wizard. And for the username and password case, the username and password is located at the bottom of this EBG19P, and the username will retain it as is admin. And the password, I'll just change it for now for easier access than the complicated one at the bottom. Okay, and click on next. And special requirement from ISP. Fortunately, we don't have any special requirements. We just need to click no, and it will configure itself. Let's just wait for a couple of seconds or minutes. And after a couple of minutes, it is already configured. Let's try to check the IP address that we got. I believe it will be the same one with the third octet as 50. Okay, it's 192.168.50.97. Okay, now let's try to check the dashboard on what are the things that we can do here. It shows you the primary one connection, the status, if it's connected or disconnected, and the one IP subnet mask and everything else. You also have here a direct information regarding the clients on how many wired or wireless connected devices is in your network. And the next one will be the DNS benchmark. This is the latency if you have a good internet connection. And of course, we have the system status, utilization of CPU and RAM, Ethernet ports, which one is being used. We have used the port 1 as the 1 and the last port for the laptop, which is color green. And aside from that one, you have your traffic monitor, and you can also add an additional card to specific devices that you want to monitor or add in the dashboard. So next one will be AI mesh. Okay guys, under AI mesh, we only have the EBG19P for now. And for the EBG19, the things that we can do here is check the clients, the network, where it is connected, automatic IP, management, and only LED lights is available for this one. For this, okay, for this AI mesh configuration. And you also have your hyper. Now, let's try to check if we can get or create an additional Wi-Fi network. And we will be using the EBA63 to configure as an access point. And we have it here. And guys, as you can see, we are not using any power adapter to power it on because this is a PoE capable device. And this is also a PoE capable router switch. Okay, and we will be plugging this one to any of these ports. But I'll use the port 1 because usually the first to third is port 1 port. And let's wait for this one to load or scan. Okay guys, and it seems that the color of the LED is now blue, meaning it is already to be configured as an AI mesh node. So there are two options for this one. First one would be click on the add AI mesh node on this one. And I believe an additional button on the right side, yes, that is the one. AI mesh support device. It was able to detect that this is an AI mesh supported device. You just click this setup as AI mesh node and wait for a couple of minutes again to configure this as an AI mesh node or an access point. Okay, and it seems that our EBA63 is already configured. Let us try to check on what are the things that we can do or configure with the EBA63. In here, we have here the list of lines that are currently connected. You have the network, information on if it's connected by Ethernet or by a wireless. And at the same time, it mentioned the port status is PoE in because it's powered by a PoE capable EBG19P. And we also have here the management. You can turn on or turn off the LED lights to specify or look for this specific access point. And you also have here the hyper. Okay, guys, for the hyper, this is a utility to check the connection between the router and your access point. Okay, so it can check actual speed of these two. And aside from that one, we have here optimization and system settings. Guys, for the system settings, let's try to check on what is the SSID or Wi-Fi name that this access point will be broadcasting. You can see it in here as well. On the Ethernet backhaul mode, we're going to enable this one because this is powered by Ethernet backhaul. And you can see here, Enable Smart Connect is currently enabled, meaning it will only broadcast one SSID. And when a mobile device connects to this access point, the network system or this one will be the one responsible to allocate if it is compatible or suited to have a 2.4 or 5 GHz Wi-Fi network. Okay, because if it's actually far away, the 5 GHz won't be able to reach that mobile device. So maybe this system will give it or assign it to the 2.4 GHz network. Then aside from that one, if you don't want to have a smart connect and want to have a dedicated or separate 2.4 and 5 GHz network, you just need to disable the smart connect. In here, you'll be able to see here multiple SSID or Wi-Fi name. You have here the 2.4 GHz network, the 5 GHz 1, 5 GHz 2, and of course the 6 GHz. This doesn't mean that this access point is capable of 6 GHz network or an additional 5 GHz 2. This is only a dual band access point, meaning it will only broadcast 2.4 and 5 GHz 1. Okay, so if I have a device, or Asus actually produce a device that is capable of 6 GHz Wi-Fi network, when you configure it in this system, it will use that 6 GHz network and will have the name that is specified in here. So for now, let's try to check this one. Okay, we have here the 5G-1 for the 5 GHz, and of course the one without 2.4 is the 2.4 GHz network. So we'll just click OK. Okay, and it is already completed. Let us go again to the topology. Okay, you won't be able to see any information in here. This is just topology. But what if I want to assign an additional SSID aside from that specific or default SSID that this access point will be broadcasting? If I want to have an additional SSID for guest portal or guest network or Internet of Things devices, I'll need to go to self-defined network. Okay? Under self-defined network, there are many options that you can choose from. There are already predefined configuration for employee, for guest portal, guest network, and of course you have customized network as well. For this demo or video, we will be showing you for the guest portal. Okay? Meaning, like for example, if you went to Starbucks or a mall, if you want to access the internet using their Wi-Fi connection, you'll be able to see here accept and something like that before you have an internet connection. So this is for the guest portal or the capture portal. So for this one, let's name this one JKchavez Coffee. Okay, and the portal type is free Wi-Fi and JKchavez Coffee. And what else do we have here? We have here more config. For the more config, there is an option for the Wi-Fi band. If you want to assign this Wi-Fi name or SSID for 2.4 GHz network, you can assign it only for that one. But if you want both 2.4 and 5 GHz, you can assign that one as well. When you click on this one, you have an option. Then, for the AI mesh, guys, currently we only have one EBA63. Meaning, if we have multiple EBA63 under this AI mesh tab, you can assign that specific guest portal Wi-Fi name or SSID to that specific access point. Like for example, if we have two, maybe this one will be placed on the shop and one placed on my bedroom. So I'll assign this guest portal on the shop, but on my bedroom, I won't be able to see that guest portal. Okay, that is the option for this AI mesh tick button when you want to assign a specific SSID or a self-defined network on that specific access point. Okay, and you also have your Wi-Fi scheduling and access intranet. By default, access intranet is disabled because you don't want guest user to be able to access your entire network. Okay, so they will be only be able to access the network for the guest portal. They won't be able to connect to the intranet or your servers or any other things behind that network. Okay, then aside from that one, maybe let's try to change the name or the image on this one so it will be more personalized. You can click on that image and upload the image that you want. So we have your JKchavez. Then after that one, click on apply. Okay, and we have already created our guest portal, and let's try to check the configurations in here. Open system, we haven't set any password a while ago. You can click it here if you want to have a password for this guest portal. But for us, just for the sake of testing, open system and access internet and Wi-Fi scheduling. For the advanced settings, you can hide the SSID or assign a VLAN ID on this specific access point and set API isolated. And for the AI mesh, guys, this is the option again a while ago. And you also have VPN. If you want to configure your VPN on this specific access point or this Wi-Fi name or SSID, you can do so. So every time your device is connected to this specific SSID, it will have this VPN configuration. And for the clients, the list of clients that are currently connected, and we have here the portal. Okay guys, for the portal, this is the one that we have. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you earlier because there are no options to add the landing page on that basic configuration. So if I want to add something like, for example, my YouTube channel or your page or anything that you want to show your customer regarding your business, you can add it in here on the landing page. For us, it will be our YouTube channel. I'll just copy this one and place it on the landing page. And if you want term of service, by JKchavez Coffee, you can customize in here as well. So aside from that one, so I have entered the landing page, add your own term of service, add your own passcode. No, okay, so click on apply. The configuration is complete. Now let's try to check on what we will actually see when we try to connect or a guest connect to this guest portal. I'll be removing my LAN cable. Okay, as you can see in here. Okay, we have got disconnected and we're going to connect to the JKchavez Coffee, and I would just like to show you that there are additional two SSID, which is the default SSID for all the access points that will be created or added on your network. The one is the EBG19P and the one that has a 5G-1. Okay, let's try to connect to the JKchavez Coffee. Okay, and as you can see, we redirected to the landing page. And this is where the user need to accept before continuing by JKchavez Coffee. I don't have any coffee actually. Then click on continue. Then after that one, it redirected to my YouTube channel. And let's try to check again on my mobile device if it will have the same effect on the laptop. So click on this one. Wi-Fi, and as you can see, it was able to detect the EBG19P and 5G-1, and let's look for the JKchavez copy and click on that and connected, and it redirected to a landing page and click on accept and continue, and it redirected to the YouTube channel that I have. In your case, you can add your business on this one, or business page, or Facebook, or anything that you want on the internet. Of course, we need to go back to LAN first to be able to show you the other configuration here. So let's disable this Wi-Fi for now. Okay, and let's go back to the web management console. So now let us go to the next one, which is the VPN server. For the server release, we have here the PPTP, OpenVPN, IPsec VPN, Wired VPN, and honestly, I haven't done any video for this VPN configuration because I don't have one. But if you want to request something for me to show you the configuration on this, you can message or comment down on the message below so I can create a video specific for this VPN server configuration and as well for the VPN fusion. I haven't done those things first. And now for the traffic analyzer. Okay, for the traffic analyzer, as you can see here, there are two: traffic analyzer and traffic monitor. For the traffic analyzer, it shows you the top clients, the top apps, and on a daily basis, you can monitor that one. If you want, you need to actually activate this one because by default, it is disabled. The reason being it is disabled is it eats up resources as well. So it is really up to you if you want to monitor. Yes, basically you want to monitor your traffic. And aside from that one, for the AI protection, guys, yes, everything is disabled as well, and they will be able to see your router security assessment. It's weak. Username and password change, no. Wireless password strength check, weak. Okay, and so on and so forth. So for the AI protection, you have here mass edition site blocking, two-way IPS, infected device prevention and blocking. Honestly, I haven't done any of this, and I haven't not encountered any issue regarding this one. So I maybe in later on I'll try to look for a device that is infected and try to check if I can enable this and see if Asus can actually detect those infected devices. Then next one would be, again, the traffic monitor. For the traffic monitor, this is the entire traffic on your network, not individually, unlike the traffic analyzer. So for the settings, this is where a lot of things, complicated things that you can configure. For wireless, we have here the band. You can change the SSID or Wi-Fi name in this location as well. Like for example, you just need to click which SSID that you want to change. Is it for the 2.4, 5 GHz, and so on and so forth. Guys, this is the default Wi-Fi name or SSID for the entire access point. So if you have changed this one, it will be changed on all access points that is configured on this setup. Then, aside from that one, you have here the authentication method, open system, enterprise, and everything. So one encryption as well. Next will be wireless MAC filter. Okay, for the wireless MAC filter, this is really helpful if you want to block unwanted devices, or maybe only accept these legit devices, but you need to have their MAC address to be added on this one. And aside from that one, we have here the roaming blacklist. For the roaming blacklist, the intention of this one is if you have a mobile device trying to roam around, if you don't want them to jump from one AI mesh node to another, you can add it in here. And next one would be LAN. Okay, for the LAN, guys, we have your LAN IP. This is the 50.1, and the DHCP server, the list of IP address that will be broadcasted, and we have here 168.50.2, and this is the IP pool. You also have your DNS and Win server setting, manual assignment, and of course manually assign IP around DHCP. Okay guys, for that one, this is actually helpful. It is reserved for specific devices. Like for example, if you have a printer, a network printer, you want it to have the same IP address all over again, even though you restart your network or that printer, because if it is continuously on DHCP, you might have an issue trying to print every now and then. So it's especially important for if you have a server or maybe a printer. Okay. Next one will be route. You can also create route for this one, static route, and IPTV, switch control, and VLAN. Guys, for the VLAN, we can configure the mode which can be access or trunk, and let's try to check on how we actually configure this one. Like for example, we have created a self-defined network earlier for the guest portal. So what if the user only have a laptop or a desktop that want to connect and you want them to be on that specific guest portal, okay, or guest network. So I'll try to name, for example, port 8, the second to the last one, and I'll try to change it to access and of course the JKchavez copy and hit on apply. So currently guys, we're still on port 9 and let's try to check our IP address, which is the 192.168.50.97. This is the default IP pool for the default network. Okay, and a while ago you were able to see that the guest portal have the 192.168.52. Let's try to check after this configuration if we will be getting that guest portal network on that specific port. Okay, and I believe it is already configured. So now let us try to remove our LAN cable connection. Just make sure that our connection is disabled or removed. Yes, currently we don't have any network connection and the management page is already not accessible right now. So what we're going to do is plug this LAN cable to the one that we have assigned, which is port 8. The second to the last one, it should have the guest portal. Okay, identifying, connected, and there we go. We are already connected on that one. Let's try to check the IP address that we will be getting on that one. It's IP config. Yes, as you can see, we are already on the guest portal, 192.168.52.3 and test. Okay, and as you can see, we need to log in again because we have moved or connected to the guest portal, and click on this one, then continue, and it will redirect us to the main YouTube channel that I have. Okay, and that is for the LAN on this one. But guys, okay, we need to go back to manage the EBG19P. Okay, go back to the last port for now. Okay, the reason why I set that one up is just to show you that you can configure the VLAN and of course introduce to you the little brother or the EBP15 smart switch. Okay, what is this one actually used for? For example, in this main building and you want to have an additional 5 ports on a certain location in the house, like for example in a room, because you have 5 desktop over there and they don't have any Wi-Fi capability, or you just want a LAN connection for those, you can set this one up on that location. And of course, without having running 5 or 4 LAN cable going to that room. So you only have to plug one from the main to this smart switch. So for example, let's see in here. Okay, remember that the port 8 is actually configured for the access for the VLAN for the JKchavez coffee. We will be plugging it in on that one, and of course plug it on maybe the last port, because guys, the last port for the EBP15 doesn't have any PoE capability, so we will be using that one as our connection from the main. Okay, so currently it's still connecting with that one. So I'll try to check the internet. Maybe let's try to Asus. Okay, networking. Okay, as you can see, yes, we have here the Asus website. We're able to access that one. But what if we try to move this one, this cable, connecting to this smart switch? It should have the same configuration of this port 8, the guest portal, or the self-defined network. Okay, so plug it in on any of that port. Okay, connected, and let's try to check again. Asus EBG19P. Okay, we're able to access the internet, but let's try to check our IP address. As you can see, we have the 192.168.52.3, and when we try to access the management console or the 192.168.50.1, we are not able to access that one because it's on a different VLAN. Okay, so that is how this one works. But like for example, if I want to have just the default access for everything else and have this one connected to the main network, unplug it in here, maybe plug it on the last port. Okay. A while ago, we are able to get 192.168.52.3 on this connection when our connection from our smart switch to the router is on the port 8, which is the guest network. Okay, and right now we are now connected. Let's try to check our IP address if it changed to 50. Clear screen, and let's try to check again the IP address that we have. It is now 192.168.50.97. Now we are on the main network, and let's try to check if we will be able to access the management console again. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, and we are able to access the... Okay, and it seems that we are able now to access the web management console. Let's just enter our credentials. Okay, admin and password. Okay. Okay. Guys, it is now working. We're able to access the management console. But unfortunately, I have tried to several times to check if there's an issue. That's the one that I noticed when trying to manage the management console on the secondary switch. Okay, and aside from that one, let's go again to the settings. For the settings, we are now done with the VLAN, and we also have here one. For the one, guys, you can configure triple LAN, triple one on this one, and internet connection, and multi-one, you have it in here. So primary, secondary, and you can also use mobile tethering on your mobile phone or pocket Wi-Fi, and port trigger, virtual port server, port forwarding, and DMC, DDNS, and NAT pass-through. If you have to configure those things, these are available on this Asus business router. And device access control. Guys, for the device access control, again, most features on this router is disabled because it eats up resources. So we have to enable this one. For the web and app filter, we have created a dedicated video for this one on my YouTube channel. You can try to check the Asus capability of this web and app filter. Okay, enabling it currently. So, okay, and it's already on, and you can add the client MAC address that you want to have web and app filters, and of course, there is already a content category if you want, adult, instant message, P2P, and everything else. And aside from that one, you only have 64 capable or 64 devices that you can add to this web and app filter. Next will be the time scheduling. For the time scheduling, this is actually helpful. Yes, again, it is disabled by default because it eats up resources. You can set a time schedule for devices, like for example, I'll click on this one, then maybe time management, add. So you can change the time when it will have internet or connection to your network. And aside from that one, we have here Adaptive QoS. This is also applicable for all the other Asus router that we have reviewed, the ROG at top and the RT series. We have here bandwidth monitor, QoS. Okay, for the QoS, guys, this is the QoS. Okay, this is the one that I'm talking a while ago. You can enable QoS on which one do you want to prioritize. Is it gaming, media live streaming, web surfing, learn from home, work from home? But if you want, you can click customize on which one will be the highest priority. So of course, work from home. Okay, just kidding regarding that one. And aside from that one, you can just click on this games if your priority is for games, and so on and so forth. You also have here traditional QoS and bandwidth limiter. Then aside from that one, we have here web history, and this is disabled by default again. So you can turn this on to monitor the devices on what sites they're actually trying to access. Next will be the internet speed. I really like this option to know your actual internet speed coming from your ISP. Okay, because sometimes there are issues with users that they have a slow connection and everything, and when they try to check or call their ISP, we're giving you the one that you paid for or you're subscribed for, but the problem is with their Wi-Fi router. Maybe there's an issue, maybe it's just 100 Mbps, or maybe it's not really a great router, and so on and so forth. So the good thing about internet speed, this one will show you your actual internet speed. Okay, so maybe let's try to hit go for this one. So converge, okay, hit go. And right now we have 500 Mbps of internet bandwidth or subscription plan from Converge. Okay, and our download speed is around 490 Mbps, while our upload speed is somewhere around that neighborhood as well. It's 490 3 or 594, and it's good. And the level that we have is super. This gives you information if it is super, support many 4K streamings, if it's only fast, great, or good, or normal. Okay, then aside from that one, let's go back to the web history. Since we have already enabled this one a while ago, we're able to see here informations like catalog Game Pass. Okay, there's a lot of things happening in here, but good thing is that we are able to see the traffic coming from this laptop. Okay, next one would be USB application. For the USB application, yes, there is still a USB port in here. You can use that one for your different types of needs, maybe a FTP share, network printer, or USB modem. Okay, this is useful if you don't have any network printer and you want it to be able to be a network printer. You just plug the printer to the USB port of your router. Okay, and IPv6, we haven't actually enabled this one because we don't need it yet. And firewall, for the firewall, you can have your general enable protection. Yes, the DOS protection, denial of service, inbound firewall rules. Okay, you can add as well. Then let's go to the URL filter. For the URL filter, we also created a dedicated video for this one for Asus routers. It will be the same, but if you have questions, try to message on the comment below so I can answer your question. And you also have here keyword filter and network service filter. Okay, there are a lot of things regarding this one, but it's for the configuration or firewall of your router. For the administration, guys, we have here the operation mode. This router is capable of a wireless router mode or AIM mesh node. We also have here system. For the system, this just gives you the information of the router, which you can actually change the username or password, and firmware upgrade. By default, this is enabled automatic firmware upgrade because Asus is keeping up with the update. If they find any issues with the router and security and something like that, they will push that firmware. Or if you want, you can disable this one if you don't have any problem with your Asus router. And of course, the most important thing is the restore, save, and upload setting. Okay, you can save the configuration, meaning if somehow your Wi-Fi router or the EBG19P has an issue or a hardware problem and you have the configuration and you get a new one, you just upload the configuration. So you won't have to do all the configuration all over again, and that is actually a good thing. Okay, and aside from that one, feedback and policy, and we have system lag and network tools. For the network tools, we have your network analysis. That's that wake up on LAN and smart connect rule. Okay, for the smart connect rule, yes, this is more complex. But if you're into this one, you can change this configuration. The star of this video is actually the EBG19P, but we have covered on how to configure the EBA63 and the EBP15. But don't forget, we're going to have a dedicated video, especially for the EBA63, on how powerful is this one. Can it actually give us good latency on gaming, on how far it can give us internet connection or wireless connection. And let's try to explore the things that we can also do standalone with the smart switch, the EBP15, if we can do something about or the configuration on this smart switch. Now for the verdict, guys. This segment of networking equipment from Asus is targeted to small to medium business. Nonetheless, it's also great for home network as well, or maybe for enterprise. And I would definitely use one in my home network, especially if I have a work from home setup and need a reliable router with multiple one for redundancy. For the pricing, it is somewhere around 200 USD or 10,000 pesos. I try to check it online for local stores and I can find one since it is relatively new. But I believe there are some networking company here in the Philippines that offer this network business solution, as I can recall during the product launch of Asus. Okay? And hopefully, it will be available soon in our local favorite store or computer store for individual consumers who wants these kinds of setup. The processor can actually be more instead of having a dual core processor, but it might jack up the price for that one, and for using it for 2 weeks, the router gets a little warm in heavy traffic in that little tiny body. Okay, and aside from that one, maybe it's just good just having a dual core because I haven't had any issue with that one. And even with that dual core processor, I will still rate it with a 4.5 star. For it is a good router with enough PoE ports to power on a lot of EBA63. And for me, it is the best option since I don't have to put a power outlet for each access point deployed for the PoE capable, and also multiple one, VPN, AI protection, and other things is also good to have on this router. And most importantly, it is really easy to configure and you can manage it remotely. And here is my mobile phone. Let's try to manage this EBG19P. And also, we can also try to check the EBA63 on the network as well. And for my mobile device, we have disconnected for Wi-Fi and we only have data enabled. And we have downloaded the Asus Expert Wi-Fi application on my mobile phone. And as you can see in here, it is the status is connecting. Okay, if you want to actually remote manage your network even though you are far away, make sure you have internet connection. Okay, and currently we are connecting, and aside from that one, to be able to use this remote connection or remote connectivity, you need to enable remote on this device. Like for example, okay, security link, as you can see here, we have here, yes, we are able to access this one. We have the main network and we have the JKchavez copy. And let's try to show you the remote connection. Yes, it is located under system settings and remote connection. And you have to bind it to your account. Of course, create an account on Asus Expert Wi-Fi application. Then, aside from that one, that will be all for now. And I believe if you have comments and suggestion or recommendation, comment down below or message me at JKchavez on FB. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe and bye.